I just know she was gonna be one of them. How come they didn't talk you into it?
Unfortunately, my show is getting ready to start in 3 minutes. So my show is at 7 o'clock, and something else I had to tell you. My show. Oh, and
You had a birthday. When is your birthday? This month?
the 15th.
15th. I missed it.
Yeah.
So Bruno's here.
Yes, I know.
So this was something planned. Oh my God. No, I told Milton I know something up. He said, be here at 6:30 sharp. I said, I gotta move picking me up.
Happy birthday.
I got dressed for the mood. I was gonna pick me up. So I just broke the news to I just broke the news to the girls, and so I'll be back at work on the 6th.
On the 6th.
Yeah, and they said we're gonna do 2 days a week in the office.
Oh.
So I'm gonna choose Tuesday and Thursday. I think that's how it's gonna
Make
go.
sure you let me know what days you're choosing, because then if we have a meeting with Hinda, I mean not Hinda, Haiti. She's
Choose Tuesday and Thursday.
okay. Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
Okay, that works
So
because those. Oh, Tuesday. That still works for me. Yes.
okay. Or
But
Monday and but no, let's do Tuesday and Thursday.
okay, Tuesday and Thursday. Hopefully that's when she's going to.
To coordinate to come in. Yeah, so Bruno gonna do Tuesday and Thursday. That's right, they're Tuesday and Thursday for Bruno. She called me earlier today because her husband's birthday is tomorrow, the day after mine.
Uh
And
huh.
she said Tuesday and Thursday. I said okay, Tuesday and Thursday. Because you don't want to be there Friday and you don't want to be there Monday.
No.
Everything goes down on a Monday and a Friday.
So hopefully that's what she's going to be talking to us about. But we have
Good,
she's called all the meetings with the counselors and the supervisors on Friday,
good, good. So choose those two.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, because they told me I had another date to come back. I think it was the second, but the lady from Trenton said to tell me come on the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, sweetie. Love you.
Love you. Happy birthday.
Thanks. Thank you, Diamond.
Oh, thanks.
Hi, Diamond.
Hi. Hi.
Bye.
Um.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Hello, guys. So we're getting ready to start this show. I guess you guys can hear me, but we're getting ready to pop off in a few seconds. So thank goodness I'm not talking about nobody behind their backs. Hello, Kendra and Kofi. Let's get started. Disclaimer. I am a podcaster, motivational speaker, and full-time counselor. And here on this platform, it is my job to talk about current affairs and trending topics that have been discussed, posted, and even floating around on social media. I do not claim to be the voice for all, nor do I claim to know it all. Therefore, remember this if you remember nothing at all. It is okay that we agree to disagree, as long as it is respectful. Every Friday at 7 p.m., I will be talking about whatever I like, and you will have the opportunity to share your voice. Now, if you can handle it, have a seat. And if you can't, feel free to exit stage left. With that being said, let the discussion begin. Hello, 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 hello. Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl D from the Voice Gathering Live podcast show. We are in the building. Thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in. To my people, let me see who's here. And first and foremost, to those who are here, thank you for letting me know you could hear me in the background. Sometimes people, well, one person told me they could not hear me, so I thought I had a little time to talk, and no, I don't. So thank you so much for letting me know that you guys can hear me. Shout out to my people. Hello, Miss Kendra, Kofi, Eric, and Lenny. Welcome to the show. I am so glad you guys are here. It is Tuesday. Tea time with VG, but we're still taking it deep, having interesting conversations. Hopefully, you guys are gathering something from this show, because that is my ultimate goal, that you walk in and actually walk out with something you did not walk in with, or more enhanced. So, shout out, shout out, shout out. So, first and foremost, how is everyone doing? Since we last talked on Friday, what's been going on, people? How have your weekend been? Remember, it was my birthday weekend, my birthday week, and honey, I did nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nobody threw me no birthday parties. Nobody threw me no big shingdings. So I just kind of just chilled and relaxed. So it was really nice to just kind of do nothing and have that time for me. So yeah, I enjoyed myself. I did. Let me tell you what I did for my birthday. So I watched this series. I wanted to talk about it briefly on the show. Everybody, do yourself a favor and check out this series on Hulu called All the Little Fires. All Little Fires Everywhere. That's what it is. Kendra, you got a birthday coming up too, so thank you very much. Um, Little Fires Everywhere, starring Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon, and there are other stars in this movie. This series, baby, it was everything. You talking about dysfunction? You talking about just like so woven together. So, oh, it was just so good. I'm asking all of you to definitely check out this docuseries or series on Hulu called Little Fires Everywhere. Do yourself a favor and please watch it. I saw that series. Hello, Miss Alexander. I saw that series. We're going to come back. If you don't, today is Tuesday. I don't know if all of you can actually watch it. If the majority of you can watch it, we will talk about it on Friday. Some of you already said you watched it, so okay. We will bring this show up on Friday because it's a lot to talk about and peel back. And we won't spend the whole show on it, but I want to talk about what your thoughts were. So check it out so that when I bring it up either on Friday or next week, Tuesday, you'll have an idea of what the series was about, what you thought about the characters, anything that really stood out to you, that triggered you, what did you walk away with. I think that would be freaking awesome. Hold on. Okay. So many people is hitting me up now. Okay, so let's see. Absolutely. Okay, great. It was so good. All right, so guys, did you see my intro for today's show? I think this is appropriate time to talk about this topic, right? I want to talk about surviving a relationship during quarantine time, surviving those relationships. Listen, many of us who are in relationships, dating, married, divorced, and cohabitating, probably felt like we never spent so much time with someone in our life except during this time, during the pandemic. And for many of us, we may have said, I didn't know a lot about that person. And last Friday, we were talking about getting, more to know about you, the Jahari's window. What part do you play in that, right? So I want to spend this show talking about that, the quarantine time and the impact, surviving and not surviving quarantine time during a relationship. I want to make a couple house announcements, so let's do that real quick before we jump into the title of this show. Okay, I did go back, guys, really quickly to hold on. I'm actually jumping ahead of myself a little bit, guys. Hold on. All right, let's talk about this first. You know what this guy is. This guy is thumbs up or thumbs down. Maybe I should put both of them in. But nevertheless, we're hoping that more thumbs up. So this is a thumbs up letting you know, guys, if you enjoy this platform, this show, the topic, the conversations in the chat, and what I'm bringing to you through the mic, please give the show a thumbs up, post a comment, and click the share button. This is how we gain traction on this show, right? We can do great things in numbers. It is very difficult if we are selfish and holding this show info just to ourselves. So click share. If you are not Facebook friends, I follow you on Twitter or Instagram. If I go to your page, if you're supporting me, I'm hoping that when I go to your page, I see something from the show there. Again, don't take this as I'm cutting your head off if you're not doing it. I'm just here to encourage you to do it. So, thumbs up, don't forget. Comment always. Click the share button more often. This is how people know we are in the building. Don't forget, we are on all platforms. We are on YouTube, where you're watching this show, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, which you can also see the show on Facebook. You can also do a watch party on Facebook. I've seen a couple of people do that. Thank you to those individuals. So you can follow, and I encourage you to follow us on these platforms because we yet not have a web page. And you can always donate through the Cash App at money sign LOVELY 0615. That is my Cash App for this platform. Whatever you donate goes into this show or sometimes come back to you in a gift. So don't consider yourself buying yourself a gift. Consider the gift you gave me. I wanted to do something for you with that gift. So don't forget, let's stay connected on those things. Again, as I was saying, we do giveaways on this show. So I will be honoring a couple people this weekend. So those names will remain silent until they decide to share what I was able to do to show my appreciation to them on the show. So let's just continue to, or let's be encouraged to sow some seeds so we can do some giveaways here, right? I think I got all the house rules out of the way. So by all means, let's jump into today's topic. So again, I was talking about you and your significant other spending time together. Sorry, forgot one more thing. I went back to last week's show and I actually, like I said, I'm going to do this more often. Look at the show previous that was streamed live and see your comments as you guys are in the comments right now. And what I would do is I'm going to pull out certain questions or strong comments that were made during the show. I won't get to everybody because some people are just saying hello. I encourage you to get more involved. And those people who are going a little bit deep, I encourage you to please go back to the show that was already aired. Always get in the habit, if you can, just go back and just click. Like, you know how you just kind of surfing Facebook or the internet, kind of surf back to old shows and see if your question or anything came up or someone said something to a comment you may have made during the show live stream. The other part that I wanted to say to you is that I went back again, looked at the comments, I responded to 3 comments. They were to Naomi Malave. They were a comment that Kofi asked, and a comment of a newcomer, Anthony. He asked. So I posted my feedback about those comments because I thought they were on point and deserved a direct response. So I typed back in the comments. So check them out, and you guys can post right under those comments to whatever you feel you want to comment to. Or just say you agree, give it a thumbs up, a heart, or whatever. Okay. Now, I'm so expressive. I be looking at myself, guys, and I just talk with these hands. I should have been a more sign languager, because I can do a little of that, but these hands be moving. So I'm trying to sit a little bit more perched. All right, guys. So, how are you guys surviving quarantine relationship? Because again, I have had some conversations with some people, and I'm telling you, people have said to me they have learned so much about the significant person they share their space with or their life with, be it marriage or dating or cohabitating, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know this, or oh my God, I just need to be in a different place in this house, or try to go take a drive someplace, or because I'm going to kill her, I'm going to kill him, we're going to kill each other. It's just way too much. And some people say, well, yeah, they had some ups and downs, some little bickers here and there, but they have been able to actually manage the quarantine time. So I got some questions for you guys. What has been the biggest challenge? First question. What has been the biggest challenge since you have been quarantined if you live with someone? It's different if you're dating someone, they come and they go back home. And you may have experienced some of the same things some of us have experienced. But what has been the biggest challenge for you while you are sharing your space with someone during quarantine time? I agree. It would either bring you closer or apart. True. So I, Rob, you said that I'm shocked there hasn't been many. Wait, did you post a comment before that? What do you mean you're shocked that there hasn't been many? If you can elaborate, that would be great. Come on, guys. Kendra, are you? Miss Alexander, are you? Who's in relationships? Okay, so I, Rob, you believe that, y- based on your comment, you thought there would be more issues during your quarantine time with your wife. Okay. Has the ones that you two have they been very difficult to manage? For me, it has been challenging, but I have drawn. Okay, so for me, it has been challenging, but it have drawn me and my husband so much closer. We have had a chance to reflect on a lot of this as well as deal with things. Overall, good for us. Okay, welcome Dolores to the show. Okay, can anyone relate to Miss Alexander's comment? Have your difficult challenges in your relationships during quarantine time either stressed the relationship or pulled you more together? Hasn't been much difference than before the pandemic. Okay, so your relationship, Eric, has been somewhat the same. Okay, good. Is that good or bad? And you know what? While you guys are going to that, I asked Eric that question, giving him a chance to answer. Um, I know this platform is an open space. It's a space where we don't know each other. Good. Okay, thank you, Eric. We all don't know each other. We are hopefully being as transparent as we can. Some of you in the comments may give our hoots about what somebody's going to think about your comment. And you know what? If you are in that space, good for you. Because when we start worrying about what someone is going to think about us when we post a comment or say something that is really our true um, opinion, voice, thoughts, feelings, then we lose an opportunity to gain what we need from the show. So, as much as you can feel safe, please do that. Challenge yourself. I'm not trying to create a therapeutic session here, but I am going to be elevating this show over times, guys. I'm telling you, I'm going to do that. And I hope that you who are on this journey for the ride, that you will actually say the next level to this show, it doesn't scare you, you don't think it's too much, that you're like, oh, I'm out, I'm good, this is too much, because we will be having a more in-depth conversation. This my program I use, I'm going to enhance the program so multiple people can be on, almost like Zoom, almost like Zoom, where the audience, the people in the comments, get to watch us have a conversation. And I'm already in talks with some people about having a master's class. And some of the masterclass experts are life coaches, therapists. We're not coming so much as our clinical backgrounds, saying we're coming to you to give you therapy, but we're coming with some experience, but to have an open conversation about our experience or our views, and you guys will be able to chime in. So I'm telling you, the show is growing. It's growing. If this is going to be too much for you right now, you're not going to be able to handle what God is going to be able to allow me to do later on. I'm not going to settle for status quo, which is why I try to give you my best. And my best is you guys giving me your best. So thank you. Okay, let's see. No issues. Wish we had more time together. We've been working harder during the pandemic, so we don't have so much fun time. Okay. All right. So we need to figure out, Kendra, what those individuals who are having a little bit more fun time than usual before the pandemic, I hope that they would share their comments and what they've done to turn it up. And turn it up doesn't always mean sexual. It doesn't always mean one way or another. Just turn it up to add the flavor, the fun, the spice, the whatever you need in that relationship. Kendra, I know you, honey, and you don't need someone to turn it up. She came back. Hello, Kitty. I know she gets that. Kitty is in the building. Thank you for the diamond and the kiss. Awesome. So, maybe those of you guys who have some things that's working while you're quarantined, you can share those in the comments so that everybody can get involved, and say, oh, I can use that. I haven't tried that. I have to tell you, for me, there's some things I'm looking for in the comments that I too can incorporate in my own quarantine time. The pandemic has been wearing you out. So I take the pandemic has been wearing you out, Kendra, because of the occupation that you're in. So I get it. I absolutely get it. I get it. So I have some questions I want to ask, but let's start with some role playing in the I'm going to read some things to you. It's only 5 questions, which makes it 10 because there's a up and possibly a more in-depth one, right? So the first question, arguments during quarantine. Are the arguments, would you say honestly, have been disrespectful or typical arguments? When you're in the process of arguing with someone in your life, in your space during this time of quarantine, would you say there have been arguments that have been disrespectful at times? Because there's different levels of arguments. Disrespectful or a heartfelt argument that needed something different. What would you say? What would you say? Okay, Lenny. I thought it would be more challenging. Glad it hasn't been. I think we found a kind of groove that we have the independency we need, even when we're in the same house all the time. Yeah, good. Lenny, question for you. Are you and your significant other in the same space? I mean, like when you're quarantined, do you like go to one corner of the room, the other person go to the other corner of the room? Do you take one room, the other person take one room? Do you take one floor, the person take another floor? How does that work? Suggestions. We started playing games, setting goals, looking at wedding photos, and reflecting, painting together, even just putting music on and dance. Okay, Miss Alexander. Now, was that something you guys? I'm asking you the questions as I read them. Miss Alexander, your comment, was that something you did prior to pandemic, or is this something that you did after pandemic? Was it something you did prior to pandemic? And then you just start doing more of it during the pandemic. So I'm asking you guys those questions. For me, balance is so important, and it became even more important during quarantine time, right? Because during quarantine time, to be in the space of somebody all that time, even though I'm working from home, it just would have been too much. Child, the chewing would have got on my nerves. Something would have just annoyed me. But I understand from a more clinical perspective, it's not so much, especially during the pandemic quarantine time, that it's just the chewing. It's other things that the chewing triggers. So it could be, I like a tidy house, a very clean house. And you're chewing your favorite snack food, and I was already annoyed by the house not being clean. So the triggering of you relaxing and chewing your favorite food during a time when the house is in disarray, hope I said that right, and I'm just annoyed at you because of that. Can anyone relate to that kind of example? Let me check out what else people are seeing here. Very little before and increased tremendously after. Okay, so Miss Alexander, do you think you're going to be able to keep the same momentum going once the pandemic is behind us and is back to a different work style? That's the question. Of course, we share a bedroom, but we work in different areas of the house. Got it. Watching TV whenever in different areas, though. We come together to eat, never to go long without checking in. Okay. So that works. Okay. So that sounds like space and balance to me, which is healthy because you cannot be we don't even want to be with ourselves 24/7 sometimes. Sometimes we get on our own nerves. So I like that. So Kendra's responded back to Miss Alexander, we do that, but need more. Okay, I'm a social butterfly, and I feel grounded. Oh yes, she is. Lord God, yes she is. Trust me, Miss Kendra is a social butterfly. She is the life of the party. Um, I think will be because we saw. Okay, so you think you will be. So interesting. All right, thanks for sharing. All right, so again, I just share with you guys. For me, again, like I said, it's not about the chewing. It's more about things that my needs, my needs are. I'm aware of my needs quite often, right? But when when there's a time when you're in quarantine time during this pandemic and there's nothing to do, especially when all the stores were closed, when you were not, whether there was a curfew, whatever it was, you were asked to limit all those things you used to do, and now you're with the person that you say you love, you say that you're infatuation, whatever it is that you feel for that person, you are now being challenged or tested, let me say, to really see, are you really in love? Are you really connected to the person that you say you are married to, dating for whatever amount of time, sharing common space with? You are now being challenged to kind of come to a full understanding that yes, this is what my relationship is, or oh no, oh no, I can't, oh no, I cannot, this is something I can't do. Because there's been a lot of breakups during the quarantine time. People done made babies, they broke up. People done got married, say, who are you? So this is going to be interesting, guys. Okay, let's see. I miss having company over, like people to come over, but my other half isn't too keen about it. Okay, so your other half is not too keen about you having company over. So let me ask you, Kofi, where we are today with the status of the state as of today, June 23rd, are you in a space that you're ready to have companies slowly start coming to the home? Is that what you're saying? Miss Alexander, let me also say, when my space was needed and it was time, please don't misunderstand, however, we were separated space needed to come together. Okay, I can see that. All right. Again, I see balance in that, Miss Alexander. So thanks for sharing. We have more family and couples time. We're doing projects around the home, and I feel it's a good team. We talk about everything good and bad. Okay, thank you, uh, Miss Love, for that. Hello, Miss Lakeisha. I miss hanging out and wait. I miss hanging out and just being so. Mm, sorry, I didn't get that about everything and everyone. Oh, cautious about. Okay, thank you. I miss hanging out. Ugh. So I don't want to lose my focus, but I definitely want to answer those questions or just give my feedback about them. Thank you so much for sharing that. I get that. But I'm kind of feeling, well, let me see what Kofi is saying right now. Yes, as long as there have been social distancing, I'm not trying to have a house party, but I would like to have a friend or two over, break the monotony. We have been in the house just for 3 months. Eric, what do you mean I'm cool during the pandemic? Tell me about that. And yes, yes, I get you. I have to say that since I see you, Jasmine, over there on Facebook, I have to say to you that during the pandemic, the quarantine time, it was the third month to the latter of the month. I had a friend of mine's, her husband come over, and they were in the area. They picked up some groceries. I cooked them dinner, and they hung out. And um, I wasn't. I was cautious, but I know they were also cautious. They the my girlfriend was not doing any kind of intermingling with a whole bunch of people. She has children, small children, so she wasn't trying to expose herself or her children to any kind of virus. And her husband works in a capacity where he has to be out there amongst people. So, hopefully he was also taking the precaution. But I have to tell you, I did not stress about it. They took what precautions they needed to take to make sure that they were helping no symptoms or anything like that. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's do it. Let's do it. And since that time, they've been to my home with me and my significant 3 times, I think. At least 2 or 3 times. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I don't want to live in that fearful space. So for me to have that balance during quarantine time and knowing, my better half, like, okay, well, wait, how are you? And he was fine. He was absolutely fine. He didn't be like, oh, I don't want anyone around. He trusted my judgment when it came to me trusting the judgment of my friends, and we did fairly well. Fairly well. So I encourage Kofi, your significant other, to I say respectfully, start kind of having a conversation with you, sitting down and saying, what do you need? That individual saying to you what they need to feel comfortable so that you can feel comfortable inviting people over slowly. Because the question I would ask my significant other, Kofi, is when will be a good time? We are in the pandemic. There has been some spikes, not in New Jersey that we know of yet, but there have been spikes in other places where the numbers went down, they spike back up. When will be a good time to start having people in that space? What would make that individual comfortable so that you can have some kind of normalcy in the relationship? And Kofi, my question to you is this a little stressful thing for you? I don't know if your significant other is in the comments, but could you have that conversation and ask, listen, what would allow you to feel comfortable that I can start to have something that I need while you also getting what you need? Okay, you answered it. I'm just looking at the comment. So we're talking about it and are working it out. Great. And that's one of the things about the question I asked about arguments about whatever during quarantine time. Are they disrespectful or are they arguments? Are they even arguments? are the conversations you having with the significant other? Is it a conversation that turns into an argument, or does it start off right into an argument? Here's an example. This is what an argument that turns disrespectful kind of looks like. Let's use an example of not doing the dishes, okay? So I'm looking at my screen here because until I get my teleprompter so I can look at you guys, if you donate to this show, hint, hint, we get a teleprompter. Okay, I'm laughing at myself, but I'm so serious. All right, arguments about disrespect. Here's an example. Why don't you do the dishes? Here. A perceived lack of respect in your quarantine relationship may really irk you at the moment. For an example, let's say your roommate or your significant other has been stressed at work and is no longer cleaning up in that common space, like the kitchen or the living room or wherever in your home that you kind of share that space. Be it your bedroom if it's your significant other. Just that. How does that turn out in an argument? So some psychologists and some people believe, and I kind of thought this. Say, for example, I'm coming to you about this and it's irking my nerves. I believe communication, I've said on previous show, is key. Is key to a healthy relationship. It is outside of your faith, whatever that may be, communication sits right on top of that. Because if you don't have communication skills and the ability to talk about what is pressing you, good, bad, or indifferent, then your relationship just don't have a chance to survive. If you lack communication skills, you're not going to make it. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be frustrated, stressed out, or something like that, but it also is going to imply that you don't know how to manage those feelings when they happen. I can tell you from personal experience, as a person who thrives on communication, at times I have lost it. To the point you just feel like I'm about to throw something because I don't feel heard. Here's an example when we're talking about how to get your communication across without being disrespectful. I'd like to talk to you about keeping the house a little tidy. Is this a good time? I feel a little bit stressed as I noticed that the common area, be it the kitchen or the bathroom, is getting a little bit messy, or it's been messy for a number of days or weeks or whatever. I like to work out something with you about cleaning arrangements. Like, can you do this and I'll do that? Can you do it on this day and I'll do it on that day? Is that something that we can work out? Just to keep the house clean, keep the apartment clean. Now, if somebody waters down that way of coming to talk to them about something that's important to you, that would help you be de-stressed, that would help you feel more relaxed and in zen, then that person on the other end, in my opinion, don't respect the communications that you're trying to have. So it turns into probably a disrespectful conversation. It becomes vulgar. It becomes attitude through body language, because we communicate through our body language most often as well. It's you shut down, you stonewall, where you just feel like you don't even hear me. You don't value one thing I'm saying. I have been there because my cup runneth over, right? So I still believe in going back to the foundation. Remember, your faith, whatever you believe in, and then the communication foundation is we need to have a conversation. And preferably, we need to have a conversation before it gets out of hand. Because once it gets out of hand, we're no longer communicating. We're kind of going back and forth and no one's listening to each other. As much as we may be trying to listen to each other, but emotions, feelings are in the way. What do you think about that? Let me come back to see what you guys are saying over here. Ooh, okay. I get to read some stuff. Okay, I'm going back to Lenny's comment. I need less social activity than hubby, but I'm a little concerned. Okay, at the end of the day, we are not in this alone. and I know we need to be around other people sometimes. So I'm happy to compromise. Oh, let's look at here. Come on now, compromise, Lenny. That's awesome. And maybe that's one or two friends that you know that that other person has known those people to be doing social distancing and not putting themselves at risk. All right, compromise. Come on now, Miss Alexander. For me, it has been a change in perspective when it comes to being cautious. Honestly, even when the pandemic has passed, I will be implementing new ways of living and being more cautious in general. Okay. Be a direct for mindful of the tone. Communication is not at it's not easier said than done. You got but communication improves over time when we work on improving it. And that has to be, you don't wait till you get upset. I'll go to the other comments and I'll probably get to them a little bit later in the show, or I will come back after the show is aired, post my comments to some of your questions or your feedback, and then hopefully you'll come back to the show and check it out. You're absolutely right. Communication is not easy. It's easier said than done. But communication improves over time when you want to improve it. It's like riding a bike, it's like swimming. You have to do it more and more and more so that it can get better and better. None of us are perfect communicators. Not from Oprah. Nobody is a perfect communicator. You know why? Because we're human beings. But some of us are better at communicating than some other people. So I got you and I hear you, Miss Alexander. So extra, Diamond. What did I say that was extra? Kofi, I'm sorry, I missed that. What did I say that extra? Because I done said a whole lot. I talk quite fast so I can get this show out to you guys and not hold you guys here longer than we need to be here. And you're not bored. So Miss Cross is in Facebook. I'm surprised she's not here and YouTube because compromise. Okay, and Kofi, you're gonna put that in caps, okay? No, I like that. I wasn't trying to be extra. I was trying to acknowledge that the individual in this comment stated that they're willing to compromise. And we have to take notice of those things that people are willing to do or take ownership of. Those little things make me very happy in my own status with my significant other. When you can take ownership and say, you know what? I can work on that. You know what? I can compromise a little bit and I'm going to put the work in. I love that. I know, Kofi. I love that. I absolutely love it because compromising meaning you're willing to take ownership and responsibility for what needs to change. That's a beautiful thing. And in the relationship between you and your significant other, when we start taking ownership for our stuff, our uncomfortable feelings, our tone, our body language, our stonewalling you or you stonewalling me, when we take ownership of that, it shifts the communication, it shifts the relationship. It does. It absolutely does. And that's in any part of relationships, be it at work, marriage, friends. It shifts things. But people got to be willing to want the shift to happen. Okay. So that was my example for an example of arguments about disrespect. I want to go on really quickly. Arguments that stem from feeling a lack of connection. Given the widely accepted myth that everyone has a tone of free time. I'm sorry, let me go back. Given the widely expected myth that everyone has a ton of free time right now, that may feel like that is totally false and untrue. I feel hurt that my friend don't call or my friends don't pick up the phone because people think because you're in the pandemic time, or an example, the significant other you share your space with feel like you don't give enough time to them. You're not invested in the things that they're invested in. That can feel like a lack of connection with a significant person. We live in the same space. If you're married or dating, whatever, and you're staying in that space, you're probably sleeping in the same beds. Although there's some people who are married and sleep in different beds in different rooms because that keeps the marriage healthy. Okay, not a problem. No judgment on that. But when you're in a relationship and you feel a disconnect to the person you're in a relationship with, that is an issue. And I'm sure that it's surfaced more for some people during the quarantine time. How do you manage connecting more? Because we're all saying, oh, I'm doing this now, I'm doing a little bit more of this now, we've learned this now. And the question again is, how would you continue to do that moving forward? What are you going to do that's going to be nailed stone in the concrete that this is not changing? This is part of my new lifestyle. What would you do? Again, feeling like you're not missed, you're not loved, you don't feel connected. Some thoughts by experts. Communication. This is what I think is probably appropriate based on the research that I was looking at. Here, I miss seeing you in person, or I miss sitting next to you. I miss holding you. I miss touching you. Whatever it is, I miss being so close to you. I feel a real disconnect. Could we set aside some time just for you and I? That means there is no friends, there is no TV, there's no work, there's no any labor, whatever it is you're doing. Can we just have some me time? And me time may just mean me rubbing your feet. Me time. Oh, I already know Kendra is not. Don't you put your feet next to Kendra. Don't do it. She may chop it off. Don't put your feet next to Kendra. So this feet thing is not for Kendra. But me rubbing your feet. He may not even know how to paint your toenails or do your nails. But just for time's sake, just to be connected, feeling connected, not lost in the work, not lost in the dreaming, being connected. I just want to tell me about your day and let's just sit here. Let's sit and let's just be close to each other. Because a lot of people during the pandemic time, although you're quarantined during this time or isolated just with you and the significant other, still feel a disconnect. If you're not spending that quality time with someone, in a way of quality time really means shutting everything out so that you can be present with the person. How can the person really know that you are there? Like if you're here, but your mind is someplace else, you're not here. Your body's here, but you're not here. And what I need is your mind, body, and spirit to be right here with me. And maybe it's me talking about me, my dreams and goals, and what are yours, and what makes you happy, what puts a smile on your face. Is it something you never told anyone, and all this time you never told me that you want to talk about? Is it something it's just being one with each other. You get where I'm coming from? It's being one with each other. See, when you marry, I wanted to say marry for a second. And marry is just the paper. But if you're in that committed relationship that feel like you've been married to that person, I'm not talking about for a year or two, honey. I'm not talking about that. No disrespect to people who have, but I'm not talking about that. Because relationships is work, as Miss Alexandra said, and I've said many times on this show. Please let it be known. I don't know if 1 year, when you got 14, 20 years, I think Miss Love even stated on here, she's been married, anniversary was 20 years. And I'm not looking at the comments, I'm looking at a different screen, guys. So I'll come back to that. That's work. You didn't get to 20, you didn't get to 15 years, 20 years, you didn't get to 5 years, because 5 years is significant too during these times. By accident. That was work. That's a contract. So if I don't have you mentally, physically, and spiritually in this space when I'm trying to be connected to you, because this second question is about connection, um, I don't I don't feel present with you. And since I don't feel present with you, I'm letting you know I don't feel you present with me. Kofi said he hate feet. Kofi, you hate feet? Ooh. I'm gonna have to ask somebody. Oh, I should ask this person when I see them. Can I see your feet? I'm not a foot person, meaning I don't have a fetish about feet. No, but I think feet are like hands to some degree, especially if you take care of your feet. So, and people just presume that men have bad feet, and that's not so necessarily true. Some men do, and some men have beautiful feet. Maybe beautiful is too strong. But anywho, yep. Okay. So that was argument about emotion, about being connected. Arguments about emotional intelligence levels. Why don't you ask me about my day anymore? Why don't you do those little things that you used to do? Send flowers, write a letter. Emotional connections. Why don't you ask me about my day or how I feel anymore? And emotional intelligence, or lack thereof, is a huge issue in relationships right now, as many people are cut off from their normal source of support and connection, um, and they are distracted and are spending more time with their partners and roommates. As a result, many may find themselves slipping into a new pattern that cuts them out of the heart to heart conversations between that significant person and yourself. How do you get back to having an emotional intelligence level of connection? Here is a little role play. I feel hurt and alone when you are not emotionally available to me. I would feel really great if you could just talk. We could just talk to each other at the end of the day rather than driving straight into Netflix or video games or anything you're doing after we finish work. I would like to talk to you about what's going on with me, especially since you're not asking me, how are you? How do you feel about your dreams? Do you feel you're accomplishing things? How is school going for you? How is work? I have to tell you, I have to tell you that I have to tell you, I am asked about every day. My significant other does ask me about how is work, and I'm guilty for not always asking him how is work for you. Guilty, guilty, guilty. See, telling you transparency here. Guilty. He's I picked it up. I noticed that I picked it up in myself that how was work, but without a doubt, always say how was work. Always, always how was work. And part of me started to believe like, is this just you just asking? Do you really care how my day was? And I don't recall asking that question too much, but always ask. And I'm not good at that. And I'll tell you, no excuse, but I know what it is. My level of work, and this again, it's no excuse. I'm taking ownership for what it is. My level of work, I'm so pulled into other people's lives. By the time I come home, I'm not neglecting. Well, I could be neglecting. I'm thinking about this. I could be neglecting when I'm not asking, how was your day? How did things go for you? That could be neglecting. So I have to work on that because that could be neglecting. Kobe said he hate his own feet. Okay. Okay, Kofi, you hate your own feet. Okay, PTSD. PTSD. LOS, stop, Diamond. Okay, the feet same. Oh, you guys are on this feet thing, honey. Let me see. I always say to my husband, the same way you got me is the way you keep me. Yes, ma'am. What you did to get me is the way you have to keep me. And a lot of people forget that. They forget that journey. They forgot, like, it was this. It's called the honeymoon phase. The honeymoon phase is over. And to me, I don't think the honeymoon phase has to be over. I think there's a way to keep the honeymoon light on. You may not stay in the honeymoon phase always because this real life happens. So you're doing things, you're accomplishing things, both of you. But there's a way to always keep the honeymoon red light on. And that doesn't mean, that doesn't mean that it has to be sexual. Because what is sex without connection? It's just sex. Maybe some of you like that. I don't know. We can go there if you want to. But sex without connection is just sex. If there's no emotional connection to it, an emotional connection, you just had sex, in my opinion. After listening to some of your statements, I believe my boo and I are doing well. We communicate very well. Okay, now, Kendra, come on for paying attention to the comments. See how we work together. Oh, and listen, we are already up. We got 15 people watching this show. I know I liked my own show. We got 10 likes. Come on, we doing something right in here. You guys are doing great in the comments. And that's what keeps it going. Come on now. Love it. Let's see how many of you going to share this. I'm just saying. But no, absolutely. Okay, let's keep this moving. Because, baby, if you are not, when I tell you that this is what, if you have, and I said this before, let's just bring this up. If you have poor relationship and you having sex during poor relationship, this is what you're going to have after you have sex. It could be him sitting on the side of the bed and the female sleep. It doesn't matter who's sleeping or not. But based on this picture here, there's a disconnect. Now, somebody didn't get theirs, and I'm going to presume she didn't get hers. He got his. He fell asleep, or he was bored. It could be anything. And I'm being a little funny here. But the moral of this story is, again, that if there is no intelligent connection with the individual, if you are having sex, especially you getting it in during quarantine time, because all of y'all going to find out that a lot of your associates or friends, they pregnant. They expecting, unless they've been protecting. There's going to be a lot of babies born during the quarantine time. This is what disconnect for me is, because, listen, if we connect, I want us both be asleep. I want us to be both in La La Land, okay? I see it as she wants it, wasn't it? Wants it. And he doesn't. Okay. Rob says, I see it as she wants it and he doesn't want it. She mad. I can't with this one right here. All right. Keeping it moving. I just can't. So again, this is disconnect. All right. So of course Rob will probably pull that out of there. But let's take it to a different other space, right? So neither of these people want this, but communication, intelligence, and intelligent communication. If you don't have it, you're losing it. Okay. Arguments about money during quarantine time. Now, I would think that many of us had an opportunity to save more than spend more. Child, they don't open up the stores 2 days. They opened up on the 22nd, and this was the second day. And I done spent a couple $100s. And I'm like, because I'm giving back giveaways. And I was like, child, they don't open up the store, and the money's just starting to pour out the window. Wait, go back in quarantine, Diamond. Don't, because your money's about to start going out the window. But again, arguments about money. Should we be buying this? Should we not be buying this? An example. The status will tell you more than 16% of the United States labor force has now been in four. So many people are in debt prior to quarantine. And they noticed that due to pay cuts, people being furloughed, so many people have been able to, unfortunately, not been able to, lost their source of income. So now maybe one person in the relationship is not working and the other person is working. So all of a sudden you're asking yourself this question. Well, why are you spending money during this time? Why is this a good time for you to spend money? Should we be investing in this? Should we make this big move right now? How do you talk about money during quarantine time? If you can't come to the table to talk about your likes and dislikes, then how can you talk about anything else? And money is a rough topic to talk about for some people. It is rough to talk about money for some people. Even married people, they don't want, you make your money, I make my money, and we're good. That doesn't work for me. I'm a saver, I'm the budgeter, so I need to know what's coming in and what's going out. I'm just saying. Okay, just reading the comment here. I love that he is so emotionally present for me at all times. At all the time. Sorry about that. It can be stupid stuff, but he's a listener. He listens. Okay. Well, that's important. Because if he's not listening, then your needs are not being met. And a lot of times people try to look the part, but not the part. Oh, he listened to my needs, or she listened to my needs. She caters to my needs. He caters to my needs. And truth be told, behind the layers, it's not happening. And there in itself, people are unhappy. But it's good to see that a lot of you are happy in your status with your relationship. But we got a couple more minutes, guys. And again, like I said, looking at this picture here, there is a disconnect. And we only can presume what the disconnect is. But if you think about the things I've been bringing up, for an example, arguments concerning a shortage of personal space. Can I be alone? Can I have some me time? One thing I'm good at and is respected in my status is that my me time is very much respected. I can be with my friends and my significant other don't feel the need that I need to be there. And then some we go together and we're together. There is a balance. Right? There's a great balance about that. And the good thing about having balance is that you know how to respect the person's space. I believe that if you can't respect my space, you can't respect my communication, you don't respect any of my thoughts and ideas, then I need to start respecting that I need to kind of move on. Because sitting in a space meaning relationship, that is not any of the 5 things we talked about. And we talked about arguments concerning personal space, shortage of space, arguments about money. So talked about arguments about disrespect. We talked about these 5 things in a quick out: listening and respect. And even if you're not a person to communicate, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I hope we didn't lose each other. Even if you're not a person to you're buffering. Ooh, am I still buffering, guys? Let me know if I'm still. You're frozen. Ah! Hang on, guys. I'm good now? Oh, you're good. Okay. I, okay. Keep talking. You're good now. Okay. I don't know what that was because we have the new system hooked up, so I don't know what happened. But things happen. Ooh, we still got 13 likes. Awesome. Great. So again, we talked about 5 things, and we talked about, and I want to go back over them because I don't want to miss anything. We talked about, guys, during quarantine time, some of the challenges that impact the relationship for many of us. And again, that is arguments about disrespect, arguments about feeling a lack of connection. We talked about arguments concerning shortage of personal space. We talked about arguments about money, and we talked about arguments about emotional intelligence level. And all those things, if you don't have communication, respect, I had 3, sorry. Emotional, uh, communication, respect for the person is important. And the person being able to be transparent with you in their honesty. But you can't just say you're being transparent and not willing to walk away with something. You just can't say, I hear you, but you don't do anything about what you hear. If we're able to kind of hone in and perfect those things during the quarantine time, that is only when things can get better. So hopefully many of us who've been in relationships for 15, 20, 5, 7, 8 years, 20 some odd years, because I know there's some people that's been in there even more than 20 years in the chats, until we're able to kind of work on those things, improve those things. And honestly, do you even go up to the person and say, can we just talk? I just want to talk to you. How are you? I mean, with no noise, no sound, no distractions, no cell phones, no nothing. Everything is just turned off, and it's just you and the other person. That is when I believe you are devoting quality time to the conversation, to the connection, to building the connection with that individual. I think that's the only time. So hopefully some of you guys will take a lot of the beautiful comments that were made here, because a lot of them were good. A lot of them were really, really good. And I plan to, use some of them for myself. Expert to experts. You guys are the experts of your relationship. So I'm going to be taking some chapters from your pages. Guys, I think once again, we rocked it. We talked about this surviving this quarantine time. We are doing a great job. We're hoping that as they open up things get better for us, that we can start being more social, having more people in our space where we can have a balance relationship with self first and the people in our lives. You guys showed up and showed out, so thank you so much for the likes and thumbs up. I hope that this show is giving you guys what you need, because all we do is have hold on, we all are having, oh. Okay, I'm telling you, the person in the comments know what I'm laughing at. I swear this person's evil with a camera and a cell phone. Evil. Just evil. Anyway, again, hopefully you guys are getting something from this show that is fun, lighthearted, but deep. And that when you hang up your end of this live stream, you can say, you know what? I like this show. I really, really, really enjoy the show. I enjoy it. She allows us to have a conversation. I'm telling you guys, at some point, as I said earlier in the show, this show is going to be changing, where you guys may see multiple people who are in the chat on screen, kind of like Zoom. Those people who want to be on camera and want to have the conversation. So this is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Just the beginning. Thank you so much to all of my people. You guys are freaking awesome. You always show up and show out, and I am so ever thankful. So, with that being said, guys, we will be back here Friday for part 2 of the other half of this conversation, unless something spiked me up and I want to bring you something different, juicy, and wonderful. I will be seeing you guys next week. Remember, love is all I got. So remember this. Don't settle for anything that ain't gonna maybe that's not going to be able to lift you up and take you to a space or a place that you want to be. Be good to one another as I am to you, because you're always good to me. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye. Bye-bye. Go. Get out of here. Bye.